Aloha. I wanted to make this a quick video because the information is already there. I don't have to really expand upon it. It was kind of like a breakthrough in my own perspective. A breakthrough for me, not for like everybody in the whole like, oh, this is what it is. No, just like for me, this is how I'm seeing what the Mandela effect is, what this whole shift is going on, what's behind the scenes of all of these things together, like everything that's going on together, and how it makes sense with actually some of the details that are going on within stuff like the Mandela effect and stuff that I've mentioned before in other videos. But this is just my like latest perspective in relation to stuff like the flat earth and the whole system, the whole everything as a whole. And I was thinking too, like, this is my 300th video on here, and I wanted to, before I start, formally thank everybody that subscribed. Thank you for your support. Everybody who's been commenting and liking and even disliking the videos. You've inspired my my thought process and my little art sharing information thing that's going on YouTube. So I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. From the earliest YouTube subscribers, when I only had like three from my earliest videos, which I have been speaking on this stuff that I'm still speaking on today, all the way back when in those little 15-minute videos. So if I do stop making videos and you would like to see some other stuff, go check out those other videos, those older videos with like 15 views and 20 views and stuff on there like that. So I look at them every now and again and go check them out. But I just wanted to take this moment to thank the people. Thank you for your support. Really has helped me personally. There's a lot of things that I've gone through in this since I've been making YouTube videos. It's been really intense. Really, I mean, my personal life and my family, a lot of stuff has really affected my own process and my life as a whole. So this is like an outlet to share with people a part of my heart, a part of my journey, a part of my my art, and my just be able to share with people, and that alone is enough. That's where I leave it. So since it's being received, I really do appreciate that. So thank you. Thank you. As far as the Mandela effect goes, now I gotta get into so basically it was just, I was in the shower and I was just like, man, what's up with this this ether stuff that's going on? Like I had mentioned the ethers in a comment recently, and I remember the spelling of it, AETHER, and then you can also spell it ETHER. Not saying that that's a Mandela effect and the whole thing. I'm just saying that the nature of it. And then I was really just like, wait a second, there's something to this. There's something with the elements and the ether. And here, not to mention the AE and the Berenstain stuff, because I had mentioned that in some videos a while ago. There's something with this AE stuff, like the vowels and that whole thing. So what is it? And I've even heard people in the flat earth community talking about the ethers and this, and I heard somebody mention something about cell earth in relation to like concave earth and flat earth talk and all kinds of stuff. And I haven't looked into cell earth stuff yet, but I'll look into that soon and see what that's all about. But for now, I wanted to focus on the AE and the ether, how it is involved with this whole shift, and how we are representing and shifting into a new reality by seeing the stuff like the Mandela effect, being aware of the things like the flat Earth and the opposite side of that, the control grids of the globe Earth and the university system, the corruption with the political system, the transhumanism, evolution theory, and everything that's connected to all that stuff, the Big Bang Theory, like all this stuff is imploding. As it's imploding, the actual information that connects us to who and what we really are is also kind of exploding into our reality. There's like leakage over into there's information as the world implodes on one space, the old world, these organic energies are starting to activate within us, and we can see that we have been limited by so many versions of our reality, from the white supremacy program to the university system and the public education system. An obvious example of that is how the arts are being removed or have been removed. I was in school, like 16, 17 years ago, and 20 years ago in my freshman year, it was around 20 years ago I started the freshman year in high school, and they started removing arts out of the schools. Like, that is a serious shift in the consciousness of not just the individual, but the entire community, the entire culture, the entire human shockwave of organic evolution and interaction, and it really locks in, like, that's an implosion in itself, and it locks in another version of your reality. So it's kind of like taking some of the elements out of your existence, out of your reality. And the example that I've related to the Mandela effect is the ethers and how we've been convinced that we live on a globe model, and we've been convinced that things look the way they do based upon the CGI images of NASA, that things are moving and interacting with us the way they do based upon the university system and the theoretical scientism perspectives that get handed down over centuries. And we miss out on a lot of energies that we are connected to. And how I related to in that comment was I actually felt a shift. Like, I felt like internally a shift when this whole Bernie shit finally hit that head and was released, because from the get-go, and I'm not the only one, I knew that shit was full of shit. It was just full of shit. That dude was out there to set a platform for bigger control grids and to kind of hoard energy and create these systems of thought that don't exist only on TV and on the internet, social media and stuff like that. This stuff exists on every layer of experience, and it exists in the ethers. So when creator beings are giving their energy away, getting tattoos of Bernie Sanders on their arms, getting so invested in this reality, the physical reality as a whole, not to mention the even smaller steps down, which are the political scene of the human reality as of this moment. These are low vibrations, and those low vibrations are anchoring the highest of the high vibrations all the way up to our connections to the Most High. So as this is a separation grid, as this the control grid is a separation grid separating you from, this is why the scientism university system is based upon basically atheism, and they utilize the religious programs, the church, as the like the patsy to separate you even further from the Most High, your connective spaces with all that stuff, kind of compartmentalize it into these boxes we call stuff like these belief structures, stuff like people who only focus on the Bible. Not saying that the Bible is completely wrong and everything. No, in order to be completely vested within a separation program, they have to vest in connective programs in that same energy, in order to make it work, make it anchor. The magic won't exist if it's totally based, but just like people won't allow themselves to be controlled if it's constantly just a bombardment of negative energies. You have to give people something. This is how that magic works. So it's just like with the Bible and everything, as good as the information that's in there and as connected as people might be to realizing those storylines and what they like, translating him into a one-on-one reality or a collective reality, as deep as that goes, there's also a controlling, separating energy that is very well weaved into that program. And the glorified manifestation of that is the monetary focused churches, the taking advantage of individuals, the pedophilia that gets involved in the Catholic churches, all the churches, all that stuff that's in there is a manifestation of the magic that isn't referenced, because there is a separation grid that's ingrained within that program. So within that separation program, so I think I hit on that the comments before. So yeah, the comment was that so when the Bernie program slipped, or when it hit that head, and then he finally endorsed Hillary, everybody was just like they hit that energy. That's an actual energy, not just in the fire elements, the water elements, the earth elements, and the air elements, but in the ethers. And when I speak a lot about stuff, this is why my channel is called Subtle Infinity, because it's just an expression of the human experience connected with the Most High experience, the soul expression, the spirit expression that exists within everybody, that is never ending. It never dies. It's an ongoing thing. Our heartbeats are forever. So when I explain stuff, I'm coming from like as trying to balance out, because I have to balance it within my own reality at the same time, within each element as much as possible. So sometimes I'm really down to earth, or sometimes I'm like flowing really well like water, or sometimes it's really floaty all over the place with air. Sometimes I'm fire and I'll just fuck shit up. I'll just burn. Somebody needs some fucking like something just gets me, and then I have to say something, because that's that fire energy. But ingrained within all of these elements, and we all do this, are the ethers and our connections to that space. And what's happening now, how I'm seeing it, is that the Mandela effect is an overall collective expression of how the human experience is being open to the balancing of the natural elements and opening up to the ethers, and when you start opening up to the balancing of, because the imbalance of the separation program is how we turn off these energies individually and collectively. So when we turn them back on, we not only activate them even further and connect more fluidly, and get more grounded, and fly higher, and get more intense, like use that willpower, solar plexus, fire energy, and start burning shit down that needs to be burned, like on like the highest of the highest perspectives, not just like literally like that, but just like intellectually, and that heart fire. That's what it is. It's a heart fire. So when you do that, what's happened with the religious program, the university program, the NASA program, they have completely cut out one of our elements, which is the understandings of the ethers. And this ether, or aether, I'm seeing it as like literally at like the as above so below stuff. This is how I'm seeing the AE stuff. It makes more sense to me, and seeing things as not at all being coincidence. There are no coincidences. This is how I'm seeing like the linguistic manifestation of what the Mandela effect could be connected to. And like I said in a previous video, CERN is just out there, just like NASA is out there as like a quantum CGI co-opted version of, like just saying, because they know, they are understanding of these energies. They already know what's happening, like the timings of our shifts. They already understand it, and they time these false flag hoaxes and all these other things that happen. They time them to at certain times when we are naturally shifting, in order to distract us from our maximum potential of tapping into these energies. Because once we completely tap into balancing and harmonizing the energies of the earth, the fire, the water, the air, and the ethers, then that's when you break outside of a control grid, and you can shift your entire reality. If you shift your reality outside of the control grid reality, you can't have controllers and rich people anymore. And that whole thing, everything just like dominoes starts to trickle, like fall over. So yeah, just the letters, the AE, that was one thing. But I started to feel it. I felt that shift when Bernie finally endorsed Hillary. I felt that whole sort of, and I can't like put it to words really. I can only explain the outskirts of what it felt like, and I only felt it because I had to explain, like it came out in an explanation real quick. But it was the same thing in related to like the Obama time frame of when Obama was campaign Obama, and everybody was like, oh, we're gonna have a black president, and I was always saying, what the fuck difference does that make? It's not gonna make any fucking difference. The control grid is the same. Who gives a shit if you have the first black president? The fact is, you still have a slave owner. You're talking about slave mentalities. So when people are so vested, showing up to all these events, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people focusing their creator energy into the ethers, activating all of their elements, focusing that energy into one individual as if he's their savior in that whole thing. It's like you're giving everything that you have, were born into this reality to experience and activate and amplify. You're giving all of that away to a slave system. Not even realizing like the birth certificate program, like they have to certify your birth, and then when you're born here, that you're in a slave system to where you can't even allow yourself to drink, to gather water. You can't eat, you can't clothe yourself, you can't do certain things because of the maritime admiralty law and this fiat currency system. Like all of these middleman, salesman, university system programs are put in between you and your experience here in the physical reality and your connection, and the most extreme levels, you're separating you from your connections to the spirit, the most high, and that understanding as a whole. And then when you start to reconnect that space, something else turns on within you, something else, it goes beyond. So once we start understanding the basic stuff that's going on, then we'll be able to activate the more complex versions of what our capabilities are individually and collectively. And that's exactly what we're doing when we're observing stuff like questioning NASA, questioning the university system, the Big Bang theory, and the evolution theory, and knowing that we're not from monkeys. Like we're not this monkey mind mentality bullshit that we've been told only to be controlled. Knowing that we're beyond that shit, something else is extra here. we start to activate the most basic structures, which are really these beautiful expressions of harmonics and realities that we're connected with and living every day. So so yeah, the ethers, the comments. So yeah, so I started to feel that, like that Obama thing when that happened back then, and then the same thing happened here with the Bernie thing, and it was a different version of it because it didn't go through. Like he actually, like he went the opposite version. Like the Obama version was like, yeah, we did it, and then this version was like, oh man, fuck. Not only did you not do what we all hoped you would do for the people who were hoping in that shit, but you completely betrayed us by like not by endorsing a criminal and doing that whole thing that you did, and so that was a different energy, and it didn't only exist in like the emotions of like the energy and motion. It didn't only exist in the emotions of people, but it existed in the ethers. And when shockwaves like that happen, especially with social media and the internet going, and I only have Instagram and YouTube as my social media, so I can only imagine what people were saying on Facebook and all that other shit. But you can feel it, like you can feel it in your bodies, in your lower bodies and in your higher bodies when you were connected to that space. And I felt it, and it was a relief for me, because now you have people who are no longer vesting their energy into a fucking illusion, but they are also looking more inward into themselves and being like, well, look, I can no longer be doing this. I can't be, thinking like, oh, this guy's gonna save me or all this other stuff. Now what are we gonna do? Like the energy bounced back to us, because it's not gonna go to Hillary. That's what they were hoping. That's what the program was hoping. So it went back to the people. The energy shifted through the ethers, through all the elements to the people. And I could feel that. And the same thing happened with Obama, but the opposite version. When people were celebrating, I was just like, oh, fuck, this is going to not be good. This is only, the only good thing is that people are, there's nothing good. I'm stretching it right now, but the only good thing is for the system itself. Like that program of control, that was the only good thing, because it's like, yeah, you have a black president in a completely slave mind mentality control grid. So there's no difference there. In fact, it got worse, and it'll get worse, and it's setting the platform for something 10 times worse, because they don't give anything. They haven't given anything. Like in their mind, the controllers, the so-called powers that be, they gave a black president, but they're not just going to give you anything. They're going to put something up there that's going to be the platform for something else later on, which is what the Bernie program was all about. So when he endorsed Hillary, I was just like, okay, good. Like finally people are now understanding that this whole system is corrupt, and what are we going to do? We have to get more information about what's really going on here. They probably heard a lot of the people too on the outskirts, like me, were saying like, stop listening to that shit. Stop focusing your energy on these motherfuckers who don't give one shit about you. Like, so they know when that kickback did come back and he was just endorsing Hillary, then people are now, it's an opposite, it's a flip energy. Like, okay, now I got to start looking deeper into stuff, and that exists in the ethers. So yeah, anyway, that. And I was relating it to also the Black Lives Matter stuff, and the scientific versions of like the university system, and like realizing that everything is connected, and Black Lives Matter as as orchestrated as it is by the system, because it's a total setup to control some kind of next agenda. At the same time, it represents something organic that is happening within the individual, something that was, they are secondary. The control grid moves are secondary to what is already happening organically. Like, if they didn't put Black Lives Matter out there to orchestrate some kind of whatever to be controlled, then it would have happened on its own in another way, which means it as in people realizing that the white supremacy program exists and they are systematically lynching black people, and not only black people but the melanated people all over the colonial program. Specifically, it's really obvious in the prison industrial complex capital of the world, when they can just shoot black people, for unarmed black people, just on a regular basis, and the cops on a 96 percentile time frame will just get off. So they can basically, they are judge, jury, and what's that dude that lynches people? I can't think. Well, judge, jury, and the dude that lynches people. That instead of lynching people, they're just shooting people. Whatever that guy's name is. Anyway, you know what I mean. So they're doing that, and that's legal. Like, that's no different than, you know, the 50s, the 40s. It really is. And when you go into the depths, it's easy to explain how that is a reality. So on the elemental scale, and even on the scientific level, the scientists are trying to understand dark matter. And this whole thing with CERN and everything is playing right into the program. So they got CERN out there to co-opt the Mandela effect, which are now I'm seeing it as the ethers. I really want to say the ether effect. So the ether effect is, yeah, that feels more like it. They're trying to co-opt this energy, this storyline, to tell the story that benefits their control grid. So they put CERN out there and say, oh no, it's not happening like that. We're doing it. See, we know about dark matter. We know about dark energy. And so this is dark matter, an anomaly studied, whatever that word is, Rastaklat, explores the infinite through physical representations in pattern and print of the madness occurring throughout the cosmos, gravitate towards the collection, chase the unknown. Okay, so I don't know who wrote this. It just, like, basically, it's the majority of our material existence that the scientism community has no fucking idea what it is. So they have been telling you that they're in charge and they know the concept of our reality based upon 3% at best of the understandings of our reality. And now it's naturally starting to manifest within our experience, with people reconnecting with their roots, understanding what dark matter, dark energy is, no longer demonizing the dark side or blackness and all that other stuff, but actually understanding it. Like, people were, even before Black Lives Matter and everything was going on, people were demonizing black people, whether they knew it or not, because of the way they were thinking, the way that the etheric versions of their understandings of black people or melanated people, or so-called minorities, which are actually the majority on the planet, which is why that is a psychological program to protect the white genetic code, which is the essence of the white supremacy program. The melanated people on this planet were demonized simply for existing, because the same way that women were demonized for, you know, bleeding on their time of the month, and that whole, like, oh, you're a dirty bird or whatever it is, like, that whole, like, you're dirty, like something's wrong with you. Like, your skin is dirty because it's not, you know, white like Jesus, and your hair is dirty because it's not blonde like Jesus. Like, these are all these control grid programs the fact that they have that particular picture of Jesus out, so-called Jesus out there, which totally contradicts the actual writings in their own books of this. So there is all these contradictions in energy that exist that are now being unveiled for how fucked up they are and how wrong they are and what they mean overall, in our own psyche, in our own interactions with each other, and our own understandings of our reality and our connections to spirit as a whole. They're being understood. The imbalances are being rebalanced, because the profit that's been made off of the imbalance program for so long by the supremacy program, the control grid program, is now being revealed for what it is. So the dark matter connecting to the black people or melanated people, understanding what melanin is as the original peoples of this earth plane, and that connection to the sun, that connection to the ethers, that connections to spirit, what this energy really means as the fundamental unit of the universe, and exists as in four forms: cosmic, planetary, plant kingdom, and animal kingdom melanin. So people reconnecting with this, psychologically, spiritually, and the scientism program trying to co-opt that space and tell you, oh, well, this is quantum this, and this is CERN that, and all that other stuff. They are out there to maintain their artificial control grid. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't know anything. So people are trying to, as this stuff has been demonized, so neuromelanin is actually the essence of the melanin that we see on the skin. The neuromelanin is not the same as melanin. Neuromelanin is within everything, everybody. And people who are no longer demonizing the balances, the existence, their very nature, are starting to activate different energies within themselves and inherently activate it within the collective. And then when you start to see stuff like the 666 and how people really demonize it because they don't understand, because that was in like the Bible program, the mark of the number of the beast and that whole thing. When you really go into it, that's not what it means. And there's an energy there that if it's demonized, then you turn that energy off so you don't get the benefits of that physical reality, basic energy. And you have to deal with the negative effects of having not connecting to your physical reality, your basic understandings of your physical reality, because you've demonized it psychologically and spiritually through the religious practices and understandings and all that. So the lack of understanding because of this control grid. The same way they tell you that black people are dirty or black people are thugs and all that other shit, and they use mug shots for black people and selfie images for white people on the news who have killed somebody, like a black person who is been shot 5 times. They use his mug shot so you don't feel sympathy for that individual, but so you can feel some kind of sympathy and keep that program going in your reality for a teenage white girl who kills a homeless man. They're gonna plaster her selfie image on the news, and this happens over and over and over again. These are these subliminal magic spells that get put out there that we're not really understanding, because we trust in the system, like we trust in the program that's been existing for so long. The same way people were trusting in Obama and trusting in the Bernie program and that whole thing. It's a whole program of giving your power away. So if we don't understand like the true essence of the physical reality, if we don't understand melanin, if we don't understand ourselves, how we are connected to each other, what that really means, what kind of connection, what does it really mean when when melanated people can be out in the sun and be connected to those harmonics, and like, how does this all fit in relation to the white supremacy program, where these scientific versions of our reality don't match up? Like, what is this at the most basic scale? What does this stuff mean? We've been separated from our basic understandings of our reality in order to maintain a system of control. And the beauty of our basic reality, when you demonize that, then you're not only turning off an energy, you're turning off a potential energy at the same time. Like, our potential to experience and to be connected is even greater when we don't have these separation grids maxed out like this. So the fact that these separation grids are being revealed for what they are, they're being deactivated, and we're not only turning off the stuff that separates us, we're turning on the energies that connects us, and having more energy, more overall potential energies within our everyday reality. And each day it just keeps expanding and expanding, which is the normal. Like, that's the design of our organic evolution, like our organic understanding and connection with consciousness, and listening to the elementals, the elemental spirits of the earth, the water, the fire, the air, the ether, and our direct connections to the Most High Spirit. Like, once you start turning on those frequencies, then you can't be controlled anymore. And this is why all of these hoaxes, false flags, these terrorist energies, like I said in a previous video, the whole ISIS stuff is to separate you from the understandings of the divine feminine. Like, the balance that's another version of the balance that exists, that they want to demonize it psychologically, that sends the shockwave through the ethers. So it happens spiritually. Once you have it, they get your lower chakras by the balls pretty much, then you really have no anchor points to activate your higher spaces, or even balance or harmonize your lower spaces, your chakras. So they're imbalanced and shut down. So we're running on like fumes, etheric fumes at best. But now that people are starting to see stuff like little trickles of things, like even opening up to the flat earth, which has you challenging the control grid, the university system, reconnecting with roots that are deeper than the monkey evolution program, reconnecting with roots that are deeper than the Big Bang, like people that talk about the creator stuff, and not demonizing the indigenous peoples anymore, and in fact understanding the storylines and why those exist, why the colonial program exists and expanded the way it did, directly relating that storyline to the white supremacy program, directly relating that storyline to the infrastructure of the organic spaces of the Black Lives Matter, like the melanin space of what that is, not the controlled, orchestrated George Soros bullshit storyline that they're putting on the news, but people realizing that this shit has to stop, like beyond the control grid stuff. Like, this is happening naturally, as a side effect to some things, but at its root, it's on a time, on the spiritual time of the human journey. That's first and foremost. And since it's being co-opted to look a certain way and sound a certain way, it's only because we are interpreting these storylines based upon a cancerous system, a control grid cancerous system that is not at all connected to our true essence. So that's basically what I wanted to share with this, is that the Mandela effect is, how I'm seeing, is more like the ethers. It's like an ether effect. Like we are connecting to the ethers now, balancing our elements, no longer demonizing our experience, but actually attempting, or not attempting, but actually understanding our reality, our connections with ourselves, our higher planes with each other, and disassembling psychologically and etherically the control grid, and that sends shockwaves through the rest of our reality, and we're starting to see it here and there, as each day goes by, and yeah, that's pretty much it. In relation to we're leading up even further into, this is connecting to the other separation grid, which is the transhumanism program of so-called merging humans with technology. That's like that's not part of this these elemental spaces. That's a substitute version of your reality. It's not organic, so people can see that it's not an organic space. It's a control grid. So this is why technology is getting so amped up. This is why they're talking about, oh, we can go to Mars and all this other shit. They're trying to play their bluff card, like, oh, this is more important. This is where you should focus your energy. So just like people were focusing their energy on Bernie and that whole thing in the ethers, that same thing happens when people focus their energy on NASA and SpaceX and technology. It's the same shit. Like when you're completely talking about and aliens and the new age shit, that shit's another one. I can't believe I forgot that one. People are talking about, oh, just come and take me away, come fucking abduct me and all this other stuff. Be fucking careful what you wish for, because if you're asking from a vibration of that kind of space, then that's a fucked up place to be kind of opening up yourself to something like that. And people are not only in that space, but they have made a lifestyle out of that space and are celebrating it on a regular basis and waiting for that reality to manifest in front of them. And then you best be damn sure that they're getting ready to activate something on that level. That is part of that whole, even that transhumanism program is part of the agenda. Any way that they can control you, they will give it to you. So this whole new age shit with just like giving your energy away to aliens, giving your energy away to channelers, giving your energy away to the Galactic Federation of Light, and all these people who speak to you in a way that really makes you believe like this is from the Almighty. This is it. This is like that's another it's another control grid. Like you have to find that connection within you before you can start to like connecting with all kinds of spaces like that. We have to keep growing. These boxes, the New Age box, the Transhumanism box, the CERN box, the SpaceX box, the NASA box, the political box, the university system box. All these boxes keep you boxed in from understanding your true reality, your true potential energy, and your true connections. And they will co-opt that shit in a heartbeat in order to steal your heartbeat. That's what's happening. Your energetic heartbeats are being subverted into a control grid. And you can feel it. Like I felt it when people realized that Bernie was full of shit when he automatically just endorsed Hillary. Like, and then the same thing with Obama when he was pumping all that hope. It's like pumping your head with hope. Like it's gonna happen. And hope. Just hope forever. Just keep hoping. Hope your way into your grave. and just hope that the next generation does it, and hope the next generation does it, and then you'll completely be hoping your way into whatever, into the Biff Tannen reality timeline that in Back to the Future it's the same shit. That's the program itself: distraction, separation, and hope. You stay in that space and you're a good, happy slave. Just keep watching the movie. That's the program that is out there to distract you and keep you locked in. So people are breaking away from that system. People are breaking away, even challenging a lot of the new age shit that's out there now. People been waiting for too long with all this new age stuff, these Galactic Federation of Light and all that stuff. This is why they're waiting. They're holding the alien agenda for the last minute, because that's like their last move. That's their last move. They're gonna scare the shit out of everybody right now and do some stuff with this gun stuff, with the whole political scene. But then once it hits that critical mass, then they're gonna pull the alien card to get everybody like on the international unification space, so they can just like make that next control grid even bigger. It's like, this is bigger and better control. Like, look, we have to unify because of aliens, or whether they do it from a positive space of, oh, they've come to help us and we're talking to them. Like, who the fuck are you to talk to? Like, who gave you an alien PhD or something like that? And or the other space of, we need to protect ourselves, like the whole Independence Day shit, and like we need to come together and do that. And so either way, or both, either way, it's there. It's a card that they've been priming for some time now, and it's available, and it's gearing up. So the people who are in the New Age community are starting to let go of a lot of the prescription drugs that have been downloaded as how we experience our reality, and starting to really look more in their inner space, and at the same time connecting to people who expanding their connection grids instead of rationalizing the disconnection grids. That's a different energy, and that sends another shockwave too. So yeah, as these systems implode, they're also expanding. The organic system is expanding. So that's basically it I wanted to share. So thank you again for all the people who have subscribed and who continue to support this channel and what's going on here, and liking the videos and sharing the videos. Like I said, I don't have I don't have Facebook or anything, so I really do rely on people to share the videos or like them, so more thumbs up them so more people can see them, which is cool. It helps out a lot. So thanks again, and thank you for joining me, and from all my relations. Peace, love, and harmony.